What is up, Packer fans? Back again. The Packers got the W down in Pittsburgh for the first time since 1969. It was Bart Starr that went down there on November 2nd, 1969. They won 38-34 against the Steelers. Travis Williams, the running back, had a punt return and a kick return for a touchdown in that game. And Bart Starr threw the game-winning touchdown in the fourth quarter to win that one. So since then, the Packers have not won in Pittsburgh. A lot of games in the 70s and the 80s and early 90s that didn't go well for the Packers. Rodgers almost had Big Ben down there in Pittsburgh, but Big Ben threw a touchdown to Mike Wallace at the end of the game to win that game. Rodgers would have done it otherwise. But last night, Jordan Love going down to face off against Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, they're quarterbacks that don't actually play each other, but pretty much head-to-head, pretty exciting. Big matchup, a lot of hype surrounding it. And, for Jordan Love, it's, can you live up to the expectations? The Packers want you to be the future of the team. They gave up, they traded Rodgers away for Love. And to live up to the hype, kind of live up to the expectations last night, really exciting for Jordan Love. He played excellent. Yes, the first half, kind of slow. There was a drop by Romeo Doubs. He should have had that one, kind of a back shoulder. Should have came back and got that one. And then Tucker Kraft, easy third down catch. He dropped it as well. 2 drives stalled in the first half. Obviously, McManus missing. The 57-yarder was short. We know that Lucas Haversick made the 61-yarder, maybe outside in Pittsburgh on that grass. He might not have been able to get there either. But I think maybe McManus came back too early, seeing this kid making all these kicks, making the 61-yarder, setting the Packers record. Maybe he was trying to get back early, not strong enough to make the 57-yarder. And then he did something he's never done in his career, which is miss 2 kicks back-to-back. Then he goes and misses a 44-yarder later on in the first half, right when the Packers were able to kind of get back in the field goal range, kind of get set up to try to make it what it would have been a 6-point game at the time. But McManus misses the 44-yarder, and the Packers go into halftime down, 7-16, with, I believe, the Steelers getting the ball. So not a lot going well for the Packers in the first half. Nixon played awful. I mean, I don't understand why, when it's third down, your team's blitzing, you got Micah Parsons, you got Rashawn Gary, you got Edgerrin Cooper, he's blitzing on this play. Why are you just facing the receiver? Why don't you get your head around, play for the back shoulder, because it's Aaron Rodgers also. Just kind of understand the situation, what's going on, and then, have your head around and play the ball. Don't just run into the guy. So, and then against DK Metcalf, just totally got bodied up, and then in the end zone he got bodied up again. And then he may try to hit him really hard on one of the plays right before DK scored, and it was kind of too little too late after giving up a big play to DK earlier. So Nixon, first half, probably one he'd like to have back. Carrington Valentine played pretty good against DK Metcalf, though. Valentine's a little bit bigger cornerback than Nixon, but I want to see Nixon get his head around. He was doing this against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins against the Bengals. He just wasn't getting his head around quick. And with Joe Flacco, the old guy can't move, and with Parsons coming off the edge, you have to be able to just, know that they're going to throw it quickly. So get your head around and, play the quarterback, not so much the receiver. I know you got to know where the receiver's at, but when you got Micah Parsons coming off the edge against the old guys, Rodgers and Flacco, get your head around. That's all I'm saying. So for the first half, the Packers just a little slow, not really what we wanted to see. Gary did have a sack in that first half, a big play for him. Kraft had the touchdown. His run after the catch is amazing. That's why they call him Yak and Cheese, but he is really, really good. What did he have? 7 catches, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. A huge game for Tucker Kraft. Ended up getting another touchdown in the second half. And then on a play where Love just got nailed and kind of threw it up, Tucker Kraft found the ball and got, I think it was a 50-yard play on that one. So really exciting to see Kraft kind of bounce back again. I know he was kind of, the last few weeks, just not putting up big numbers. Maybe he did get hurt a little bit more than everybody thought, and he was kind of just nursing that, but back to form, big game for Tucker Kraft. Very exciting to see Christian Watson back out there. Love got him the ball. I think it was the second throw of the game. He got it to Watson, and I just think that's awesome of Love. I'm sure Watson was excited to get back in there. He had 4 catches, 85 yards, and a big play down the field on a third down. Ended up being a flag on the play also on the defense, but for Watson to kind of make that catch, just kind of, the big playability that he brings. 4 catches, 85 yards in his debut after tearing his ACL last, I think it was like January 7th against the Bears. So big time plays by Christian Watson. Exciting to see him back. And then, Josh Jacobs, he did get the touchdown in the second half, but he really struggled to run the ball. I don't know if he, a little banged up, the sickness, the quad, all those things kind of just compiled after really fighting hard the last couple weeks to put up some big numbers, but he just couldn't get anything going. And then they bring in Emmanuel Wilson, who had 11 carries, 61 yards, 5.5 yard average, really got something going there on the ground in the second half with him. And then in the pass game, he was making good catches and then breaking tackles, good run after the catch as well. So big play game out of Emmanuel Wilson, exciting to see that. And then obviously Micah Parsons in the fourth quarter, it was early on in the fourth quarter, he got to Aaron Rodgers for the sack. Everybody kind of got there, but he got there first. And then Gary also had one in the fourth quarter. So really exciting to see these guys get home at finally against Aaron Rodgers, and a guy that's hard to sack, obviously. And then we thought we had a strip sack also, but we saw Aaron Rodgers throw the ball to the ground. To me, that should be intentional grounding. If you're just like spiking it in the middle of nothing, and maybe there's a guy over there, but you're not really trying to throw him the ball. You know what I mean? So to me, that should be intentional grounding, but it wasn't, and Rodgers got away with one. But the run D, again, some of the heavy set alignments, they brought in an extra offensive lineman. They brought in big Darnell Washington, 6 foot, 7, 300 pounds. And then they had another tight end on the outside. And the Packers defense just seemed like they were aligned a little bit off, where if they would have shifted a little bit, had the linebackers kind of more to the left, strong right, strong left, just kind of line up over there. Because with those big guys out there, they're really not going to run a lot of pass concepts out of those. Maybe a couple, but you should have the guys, double cover. There's not a lot of options with those routes. And so you should know that it's going to be a run. Like, all those plays were pretty much runs, and they kept doing it because we kept not stopping it, because we kept being a little bit outside. Walker got a little bit washed out, so did Edge. So just a little bit to clean up. Hopefully half sees that, but to keep Rodgers under, he didn't have very many passing yards going into the fourth quarter, and a lot of that was trying to catch up to what the Packers were doing to them. Packers jumped out to an early lead, and then kind of McManus did make some field goals. I think he got 2 in the second half. Boswell, though, for the Steelers, basically their number one offensive player, 4 field goals, 2 of them of 56 yards. So that guy made some clutch kicks for the Steelers. And then, Savion Williams got his first touchdown. That was awesome. Really exciting to see him. He's the kick returner right now, number 83. He's been a rookie out of TCU, big guy, 6'4", and he can run. So exciting to see him get in the end zone. Matthew Golden did have kind of an off game. We know Dontavian Wicks was out. We know Jaden Reed was out. So I thought with Watson coming back, Golden and Dobbs would kind of take over as the 3. But with Tucker Kraft having such a big game, it didn't leave a lot for anybody else. But I'm excited about how Kraft played, and we're just going to keep seeing him develop. I mean, he's just going to keep being that guy. And the way he plays just gets everybody so excited. And then the run after the catch, I think he had 7 catches. I think 131 yards of the 143 yards were yak yards, after the catch yards, which is insane, especially for a tight end. So very, very cool. Jordan Love, 29-37, 360 yards and 3 touchdowns. Big game for him. Obviously, Josh Jacobs only had 13 carries, 33 yards, and a touchdown, 2.5 yards on the ground per carry for him. Not great, but I think Josh Jacobs will get going next week. We do play the Panthers, and I'm excited to see how that one goes. We'll do a video on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video and come check out that video. But then in the fourth quarter, Rodgers, trying to catch up. We were making those field goals. I wish we were scoring touchdowns at the end, really put the game away. We were kicking the field goals. But then, big play, Edgerrin Cooper comes down and tackles Kenneth Gainwell, the second running back for the Steelers, makes him fumble. Javon Bullard gets it, and it was a little bit after, I think, the Rodgers almost fumble. So it was really exciting to see us force another fumble. second forced fumble for the Packers this year after all the offseason hype about trying to knock it out and punch it out and get these fumbles and force these turnovers, especially after last year's turnover barrage they had. So didn't intercept Rodgers, but we did force a fumble, sacked Rodgers 3 times. Pretty good on the defensive end, I would say. Just exciting to see how that went with them forcing the fumble and getting the fumble recovery. Javon Bullard got the recovery. And then in the fourth quarter, when they scored a touchdown, I know Rodgers threw it up. I think Wilson got it, and then Carrington Valentine tried to bat it out of his hands. And he did get it out, but I guess he had the steps. But, I mean, this out here, I guess that should be a catch. But you almost want the rule. If you're the rule should always be, if it's your team, it's a touchdown. But if it's the other team, they should have to bring it back in, right? So kind of a catch-22. So, but anyway, Packers did get the win, 35-25. And in the fourth quarter, when Rodgers threw that touchdown, they went for 2. And if they would have got it, they would have been down 8. The onside kick would have been a lot more meaningful. And the play looked good. Rodgers threw it out to Johnny Smith. It looked like he was going to be a good play. And then Teron Hopper knocked it out, number 59. So big play by him. So what a defensive stand in the fourth quarter. Packers really outscored the Steelers. I think, let me do the math quick. It was 9 points scored by the Steelers in the second half, and it was 28 by the Packers. So really outscored them in the second half. Big flop. Obviously, they always say it's not about the halftime adjustments. They're always making adjustments. But for the Packers, really a big game, big win. 2 road wins in a row, going down to the Arizona to win, and then going down to Pittsburgh to win. And obviously, in a hugely hyped game against Aaron Rodgers, he will not be one of the, well, he'd be the 6th quarterback, I believe, to have beaten every team in the NFL, all 32. There's a few. Fran Tarkenton beat 28 teams in the NFL, but there's a few guys that have beat all 32. Rodgers would have been that 6th guy, I believe, and now he is not going to be that guy, and he probably will never be that guy unless he plays us in the Super Bowl and he beats us. Don't see that happening, and I don't even know if they really count that one, but I don't see us playing him again next year, and I don't think Rodgers is going to be playing next year anyway. So for the Packers, big win. Now we go back to Lambeau, home field advantage against the Carolina Panthers, who are struggling. Bryce Young was out. Andy Dalton played, so we will do a video on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Come check out the Panther video. Thank you guys for watching. Go Pack Go. We are 5-1-1 ahead atop of the NFC and atop of the NFC North, and only the Colts have a better record right now. So go Pack Go.